Hello and welcome to our next episode, The Return of the Pavlo. And today we'll be talking about TempoTec hybrid earphones IM05. So, both model name and even caption on the box tells us that it's a really classical and popular hybrid schema nowadays. It's a single dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures. Pretty typical setup, and actually they also set a pretty affordable price, $140, which also seems pretty good. And in general, I reviewed some recent TempoTec creations, and they are pretty good in terms of price to quality ratio. Their V6 portable audio player, M3 desktop digital to analog converter. Also, they have some desktop player. I didn't test it, but reviews also say that it's good. And this model, I also have pretty nice expectations for that they will deliver great value for this price. And probably that's all. I will add links in the description, and let's have a closer look. So, nice, stylish, minimalistic black cardboard box. Actually looks pretty nice. Inside we're getting the case, and underneath some papers in the envelope, and also set of tips inside of foam organizer. So it opens this way, inside of foam organizer. So as you can see, 3 pair of tips, another 3, 5. So in general, 8 pair of different tips. So really nice. And good, pretty practical storage case made of nylon and with good smooth zipper. Inside we are getting earpieces with another pair of tips, stock cable, and even carbine, so you can attach it here to this storage case and strap it somewhere. I don't know, are there some people who carry earphones on the belt, or I don't know, on the backpack or somewhere there? So I'm not really sure about this scenario. But from another hand, maybe are you camping somewhere in a nice place and you strap earphones to your backpack and few M17 to the other strap of your backpack, and by the moment you get to some place to stay at night, you're already out of any power because you had to carry M17. So here are earpieces themselves. There are a few different versions. This clean and silver reminds some earphones. I don't remember, either it be Moondrop or something like that. I've seen photos, but I don't remember the model name. but there are other designs. I like that absolute transparency of the inner shell, so you can easily see drivers, you can count them, you can see dynamic drivers, all that sound tube that goes to the spout. So faceplate looks really nice, like brushed aluminum with the company's logo and company's name, and looks pretty nice. Inner part is also pretty ergonomic, fitting nice into ears, especially, like my ears already have that shape, so probably all earpieces with this ergonomic design fit like with vacuum suction. And here is the spout. As you can see, it's not super long, but enough to provide about average sound isolation. It has that band that corresponds our ear channels, so at least in my ears it fits really well. There is a lip for holding the tips and metal protective grill, so good basic practical design. Looks pretty nice, feels also, at least to my taste, stay in ears nicely, providing about average sound isolation. Here is the stock cable. Looks pretty fancy. Also, you can see it's like bright silver one to match the design of earpieces. Here used classical 2-pin connectors, no recessed sockets or pins or something like that, so absolute classics, fitting and holding really well. There is ear hook format, and here is cable itself. It's not super soft, but really on the softer side of things, softer than average, and it looks nice. Like, I like this spiral braiding, and inside of each wire you can see additional braiding and some bright insulation. Also here is splitter with chin slider, and it goes below braided for wires down to regular 3.5mm jack. So there is no replaceable jacks or some other thing like that, but actually you can get just another cable, something not super expensive. It will be also a good option. So in terms of exterior, as you can see, everything done really well. And of course about the sound, if you get them, don't spend time burning them in. I already tried doing that. I burned them in for about 48 hours and there were no significant changes in sound. In terms of tuning, they are a bit unusual. So if you look at the frequency response chart, you'll see like classical V-shaped signature with strongly elevated bass and treble. But at the same time, they doesn't sound this way completely. Of course, low frequencies are accented, but accent is not as big as it's present on the frequency response chart. Bass has really good depth, so deeper layers of bass are present, but at the same time they are not dominating because main accent is made on the middle bass area. That means that instruments get better body and so on. But with things like electronic music, you're also getting pretty nice deep punch, but at the same time it's not like super rumbling or super powerful or something like that. But at the same time they have good speed, so in general bass is pretty impactful. But that impacts are pretty noticeable, but they are not like massive. And bass is good in terms of texturing, so actually pretty nice low frequencies tuning that I subjectively like. So first example, it's Mindfields by the Prodigy, and it's kind of track that demonstrates both mid bass and low bass. And at the beginning it doesn't sound like super powerful earphones in terms of low frequencies, but later when bass starts really seriously kicking, you'll get interesting effect of that kick rendered. And at the same time upper frequencies represented by balanced armatures are also sounds pretty nice and building enjoyable contrast. Mid frequencies are also like typically hybrid, because on many inexpensive hybrid models it's pretty audible that lower part of mids is represented by the dynamic driver, and on the middle and upper mid starts balanced armatures. Same story is here, but here that lower part of mid is noticeably warmer than the rest of the track. Than the rest of the drivers that starts from the middle and up. If you like a bit weighty and slightly darker representation, it will sound nicely. But on some rare tracks there is a bit of lacking detalization at the lower mid area. It depends on the mix, it depends on the instruments used. On some tracks it's almost unnoticeable, on others it's pretty audible. And here is an example where you can, like, let's go back, when you can hear it. It's Rebell Yell by Billy Idol, and actually Idol's vocal sounds pretty noticeable, and they have nice crisp and clarity, but part of that synthesizer that goes a bit deeper in terms of mids sound warmer. In general, upper mid detalization is good, slight peak in the lower treble area is present to make things more spicy. Imaginary stage is slightly above average in width and in depth, and actually depth is even better because of that unusual mid tuning. These earphones often pick some instrument or sometimes vocal and move it forward. It really depends on the mix, but this effect happens time to time, and it helps them to improve the stage building in terms of depth. And the treble is pretty good. So for the price, of course, it's like clean, crisp, and also it doesn't sound sharp, at least to my ears, because based on frequency response, they should be pretty noticeable and harsh. But for me, they are sounding okay, maybe because of balance with low frequencies. And also extension is just about average, no super extended treble here, just basic overtones, but that basic overtones are rendered pretty nicely, so you'll get nice percussions and other things that goes to the like basic overtones, and also nice amount of airness. And example here will be, let's go back volume screen. So we need example for the treble, and it's Private Investigations by Straits, and it starts with that guitar note that goes to the treble area, and actually they are played nicely. Of course, lacking layering and that rich audiophilic stuff, but pretty enjoyable. In terms of pairing, they will sound better with something not warm, at least to my taste. So really good pairing with TempoTec's own V6, for example, or some of their affordable digital to analog converters. Probably that was their idea in terms of tuning. Speaking about the comparisons, actually FIO FH3, for example, they are like more classical V-shaped tuning with more present bass and more extended treble, but at the same time slightly harsher in the treble area, and with a bit less of that upper mid lower treble accent. What else we've got in this price range? Actually, that EPZ K5 that I reviewed, they are a bit tighter on the low frequencies with a bit more weight, but more even mid area in terms of presence and in terms of driver coherence. There are a lot of models, I don't know, like Eco OH10, for example, like tighter, more powerful, bigger bass, and at the same time like more focus on the micro contrast mids and treble area. So TempoTec created interesting model. Maybe it's not like for everyone, but I can suggest trying them because they offer some interesting features in sound, and maybe they will fit your taste. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.